A shout out to our podcast sponsor, sportsponsorship.co.uk. If you or your business are interested in making a real difference to the Scottish game, supporting hundreds of kids into regular football, get in touch with sportsponsorship.co.uk and they'll find the right fit for your brand.
Thomas, I remember that Spanish Burger King used to excel for not only vegan products, another member of our family being a proud vegan, it also used to deliver two meals for €7, which at current exchange rate probably like £6.25 or something. 2 meals for €7.
That's incredible.
Since arriving back in Spain on a little summer vacation, inflation, the cost of living crisis has taken hold. This is now 2 for €11.
Yeah. Come on. It's political correctness,
Spanish wages are rising like that.
It's a full 56% increase.
That's Burger King, is it?
Yeah, that's the king, man. That's...
Well, hang on a minute. Hang on a minute. Hang on a bloody minute here. The vegan burger at Burger King is fucking class. Like, it is unbelievable. Like, so much better than that little sort of piece of shit that McDonald's has got. Like, it's proper good. Like,
Have you actually had a McPlant from McDonald's?
Yes, of course I have, mate. Yeah, of course I have.
So wait, you have, but the big arch is out, but you won't try that.
It's because Russell Martin's a vegan, isn't it? He's
Exactly.
Yeah, sales of McPlant in Glasgow have gone through the roof since that appointment.
That's it. Exactly. But no, that's crazy. It's only going to go up higher though. Mr. Trump's not too happy with Spain, so watch those king prices go north, mate.
Yeah,
that's it.
a while back in Asia before you can say 2 for €11.
Oh, how much is a McDonald's over there?
Yeah, what's it like? Yeah.
I don't know. I've not
50p or
been
something.
to the Arches on this trip over yet. Been stuffing my face with all kinds of other things, but I don't know. The Arches is probably
easy type.
it's been Arch is probably more keenly priced in the UK, but still doesn't compete with the King. But I mean, maybe it does now. Maybe it's neck and neck between the Clown and the King. I don't know.
So you're a king man, are you?
Was in my previous time in Spain, I was still trying to largely follow a vegetarian diet.
Okay.
Very much from the Russell Martin school of things, minus the Green Party membership. But I don't know. Now anything goes. So not been to either on this trip. Frankly, dismayed by the 2 for €11. So actually, it might be a time for the Colonel to step up.
Not as many vegan options at the Colonel though. Not as many, like, for the mouth. It's
back to Henry now. He had a prawn once and now he's back.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I'm back eating all animals under God's son. It's what you in Thailand will do to you.
Dog. The dog in that.
Dog. Can't speak for the dogs. Don't know.
My dogs. That's a thing. That's a thing, though, right? No, Asia, dogs.
It's racist, Matthew. Go on.
I've watched race all across the world, dogs and that, man, going across.
Keep digging.
2 dogs for 11.
That's right, mate. No, it's a good deal on the dogs. I think a McDog is quite a good price.
McDog. Chicken nuggets. There you go. You're welcome.
McFluffy? No?
Yeah, no, that'll do. Yeah, that's all right. Randy McNubb. Good. Jesus Christ.
No, I'm looking forward to the big arch, Andrew. What about we tell you it's like the best thing ever?
I've already had that message from my sister.
She says good.
It's apparently the best burger that's ever come out of McDonald's. So,
okay.
So strap in, boys. It's going to be good.
I'm going to get 2.
12 bar for the meal, though.
Shut up.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
We'll go halfers, Tom. Halfers, mate. Half a big arch each, bro.
Well, half the price and you'll eat 3/4 of the burger, you fat.
That's why I never buy the main. I always buy like the Big Mac or that, the cheaper sort of thing. I never go for the big special. So this is
it's a treat.
Yes,
That's scandalous. That's like the price of sit down burger, like smash burger or something like that. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's
Bonnie Burger
mental.
Kitchen.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's the same price. Like you go to a restaurant, that's the price of a burger, no? Like
But, yeah.
McDonald's is meant to be like for the people. Like it's gone now.
You can still
The
get your
game's gone.
drive-by meal deal, mate. McNeil chicken and that.
No
Yeah,
longer
but-
can McDonald's say we are the people.
We are the McPeople, yeah. No, fuckers. Honestly.
Speaking of sandwiches, have you seen that new Marks and Spencer sandwich that's going about the strawberries and cream
Oh,
sandwich?
to
Have you
avoid
seen
the
that?
tax.
Yeah. What are they
Yeah.
calling it? Like a
They're classing it as a cake, so they don't have to pay tax.
yeah. I've
That's,
been looking
that's
for
what
it. Mate.
Rangers should have tried in the 90s.
Exactly. The David Murray special.
Should have called it pies, steak cakes or that.
I saw he was in the news.
Instead of the
Again.
BLT, what was it? The EBT. That's it.
He was back. He was back doing an interview. Andrew, was he not? I saw him on
Yeah,
the news.
he's been doing quite a few interviews.
Was
Yeah,
there a book
he's
coming out or what?
Yeah, he's got a book coming
Of
out.
course.
It was. I think he actually delayed it because of all the takeover and stuff like
Right.
that. So he was just trying to sort of jump on the bandwagon at that time. But the interviews are funny as hell. Like I've only seen some of the clips, but like it's like, oh, I didn't know. Like I didn't know Craig White was a crook. Like it's like, what? Like it's so funny. Like.
Do you think all the players like your Billy Dodges and your Alex Rays are just sitting there like, oh no, shut up, please. Stay quiet. You've done 15 years, just stay quiet. Man.
Is that a tell-all
Well,
memoir or what?
yeah.
Is he revealing secrets like in this book?
I don't really know. I mean, I obviously listen to a load of Rangers podcasts and that, but they're all like, "Oh, there's no way I'm listening to that." But
Good
you know,
impression of the typical Rangers fan.
well, it kind of is. But yeah, I don't know what'll be in it. Like I'm not sure, but I think a lot of it you'll need to take with a pinch of salt as well because he's obviously capable of a couple of fibs as well. So who knows?
Buying the book,
but-
Andrew. Going to Waterston's when it's out. Queuing up outside.
I'll be there at midnight. Yeah,
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 midnight was
definitely.
at
I've got
Try
my,
and
just
try and
got a
kidnap
sleeping
him
bag.
like Borat and Pamela.
That would be. I need to get down the gym for that, I reckon. But yeah, still pretty epic. Get the old bin bag out, the mesh
With my
sack.
pillowcase.
Yeah, the pillowcase. Yeah, that's way more. The Scottish version would be a bin bag, though.
Yeah.
Like that's it.
Well, he'll be hoping it's more of a people bounce back job than a pulped at Christmas job.
Oh god, fucking hell! Yeah, I'll not be reading that. The audiobook, I could be tempted. It's got to be quite funny. It's got to be quite a funny listen. There'll be some great quotes in there. Hopefully, he, like narrates it himself as well. Like it's proper animated, like sort of Tony Blackburn number. But I think that's the greatest audiobook of all time.
Yeah, it's incredible.
So good.
I'm looking for Stephen Fry to narrate like Rangers' title victory in 1996. God scored again. The £12,000 he saved in tax.
Yeah.
Murray spent on a trip to Barbados.
Oh,
All that sort of thing. Yeah.
yeah.
Falling asleep to Stephen Fry narrating Rangers seasons. Lovely stuff.
I'd take
Just like
it.
in the songs and that, is he?
I was
Two
about
on
to say
knees.
something. Yeah, that's where I was going, but yeah, I was like, I don't know how I can censor that.
Yeah.
That's all you need to say.
Yeah.
The rest is implied.
Apparently Scott Bain was utter dog shit for Falkirk.
No. No.
Yeah, man, I told you, he is Mr. Banana Skin Central. Like, honestly, so many cock-ups in his wee locker there.
That's not the news I wanted.
He's terrible.
Who are you saying finishes? Who's if it's a 50-50? Who finishes high? Huh? Livy or Falkirk?
Oh, I'm going Livy all the way. I thought Falkirk before the window opened.
It's not shut yet, mate. It's not shut yet. Come on.
No, honestly, I mean they've only made 2 signings, but I don't know. I don't think they're going in the right
No.
direction there. I mean, yeah,
Come on,
we'll see.
Falkirk, mate. Falkirk are on the up. They're getting top 6, bro. That's what John McGlynn was.
Martindale versus McGlynn. That's not David and Goliath. What's the battle of the two big people? Can't think of it. but-
David and David.
Goliath and Goliath.
Yeah.
Goliath.
Goliath and Goliath. David and David. Battle of the bald men.
One of the best interviews you listen to is Martindale talking about how the SPFL forced Livy to put a new pitch down. But
Yeah, I saw that.
He only uses one word to describe the pitch, and he uses surface. He must say surface at least a good dozen times. So I really go surface, this surface. Better than the old surface.
Oh, it's so good. Saw that this week. I actually thought there was no plastic pitches at all.
This is
But
the last season, I think,
they've-
right? Before.
But they've just laid another one. What's the point?
Because the last one was so bad. Is that?
But I know but like, how bad can it be? Like, surely it lasts the season. It must cost a fortune. Like, apparently it's a really good quality pitch as well. Like, surface. That's
They're
mental.
going to get relegated on purpose then, so they can keep their surface till next season, or what?
Maybe, actually, yeah. That would really ruin my prediction then.
Just fucking booting it in.
Bloody snake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it a full new surface, or if they just resurfaced the surface?
It's brand
It's
new.
full new.
surface.
Yeah,
AstroTurf
full new,
surface.
yeah. So it'll be them, Killy, Falkirk. Who else?
That's it, I
Is
think.
that
That's it.
It's disgrace, mate. It should be put on grass.
Celtic's got a hybrid, but I mean that's the best surface in the league.
it?
Best
Yeah.
atmosphere as well at the stadium. Yeah.
So
Best
Rover's
club.
still a plastic surface.
Correct. It's a great community asset that their SFA are to rip away from clubs that have ambitions to get promoted, you know?
You've had ambitions to get promoted since '98 or whenever it was.
97,
your
I
last
think, yeah. Yeah.
Always the nearly.
That's
man.
how we threw it away last year, mate. And the year before. We just couldn't be bothered.
And the year before.
And the year before that, yeah. I've got a Rovers calendar. My dad gets me a calendar every year, right? And I looked for July, right? And fucking it's Neil Collins, the manager, who was like there for like 6 weeks. He's fucking in the calendar. So I have to look at this prick's face all July.
All you need to be in the calendar is be at the club in December.
Yeah, no, it's ridiculous, man. Fucking Neil Collins.
When was he binned? It surely wasn't long after the 1st of January, was it?
Honestly, I don't even know, but he was there. And Colin Cameron is his assistant. He's been sacked like in the summer, so there's no one on this fucking calendar at the club
That's
anymore.
fucked up September for you as well.
Yeah, so I'm just going to scrape his face out with a fucking pen.
Episode 6, and we are delighted this week to welcome our first ever guest onto the Tin Pot podcast. By way of introduction, I am Tom, your host, joined by the usual suspects, Andrew and Matt. And yeah, we've got a football coach amongst us, which puts us to shame. A chap he's done it at Dunblane Soccer Club. He's helped out a wee bit at the Beanos, from what I understand. Coached with the Glasgow Uni 2s. Assistant coach at the Glasgow Uni first team for a wee spell, before jetting out to Thailand to take the reins for a few interim games of Phuket Andaman, who are in the 3rd division, I think it is, in Thailand. So we welcome Henry Leask.
Thanks very much, chaps. In true Tin Pot nature, you got the most tin pot football coach you could probably imagine. Straight off the back of probably like bottom of the list of a football manager database somewhere. But good to be here, chaps.
Yeah, glad to have you. I mean, yeah, that level of knowledge puts us to shame anyway. So I just want to spend 5 minutes to help our listeners get to know you. So this is going to be a sort of quick fire questions. Doesn't need a one-word answer. You can explain a wee bit if you want. But yeah, some quick fire questions for you. Just 10 questions to get to know Henry Leask. Favourite player to watch in Scotland that's not from your own team?
Favourite player to watch? Tough one, to be fair.
Could be for any reason.
Are you talking current day or all time?
All time.
Probably going to say, let's go with Callum McGregor. I just think he's been consistent for the best part of 10 years and has just performed at Champions League level for Celtic and Scotland. So say Callum McGregor.
The goals for Scotland as well, and straight away a middle finger to our teddy bear on the podcast. That's fantastic.
Yeah,
The best feeling you've had in a football stadium as a fan, not in your coaching days?
It's probably in the Allianz last summer, the first game of the Euros with yourself and friends. I just being at a Euros with Scotland away from home until the first whistle went.
The first whistle and the next one and the next one and the next one as the ball went into the back of the net. Favourite Scotland goal? Doesn't have to be one you've seen live, but one that jumps to mind.
Probably McFadden in Paris, innit?
McFadden in Paris. You're old enough to remember that, just?
Yeah, absolutely. Wasn't
It
there, but I remember.
Yeah, it's hard to forget, especially for me with a poster behind me. Next question. Who is the best current Scottish manager, in your opinion?
Best current Scottish manager? That's a great question. I think it's Steve Clarke. He's the man in the national team hot seat. I think he's there for a reason because he is the best.
Delighted to hear you say that. So that I'm not the only one that rants on about him every week. Your favourite football cult hero?
I'll have to go down the Dundee United route, being a long-suffering United fan like yourself. It's a tough one between Willo Flood and John Daly, both cult heroes at United in their own respect. Probably have to go with Willo Flood, just for his escapades in Bali and then coming back to Scottish football. The interview with Bali and then coming back with his tail between his legs adds a lot to Willo Flood. But 3 spells at United. Willo Flood.
One of the most quotable men as well in Scottish football history. The favourite scran that you've ever had in a stadium, or your go-to scran in a stadium?
Spent a long time being a vegetarian, so I was restricted to macaroni pies for a long time.
Nothing wrong with that.
And I think they all come at the same bakers in every Scottish football ground, so I think they're pretty much all the same. I do remember a really bad one at Starks, actually, in the Challenge Cup semi-final, man. I'll say macaroni pie, but I can't remember a good one. So just there's the delicacy, but I don't know which venue provides the best one.
So you've picked a Celtic player off for the first question, now you've slagged off Starks Park.
Yeah, I'm probably
Got a new bakery provider of pies and stuff. Stuart's, the baker, so much improved. Next time you visit, get some.
Stuart's are the go-to for the doner pie as well. What's the best game you've been to outside of Scotland? I mean, that might be the same as the second question, the Allianz, but best game you've been to outside of Scotland?
best game outside of Scotland. Potentially a Scotland away game, maybe Spain away. Even some of the trips to Eastern Europe, Lithuania sticks in my mind, Albania away as well. Again, the Euros game against Switzerland was amazing as well. So probably one of these games. Let's just say Switzerland, because we got some form of result.
Scotland away was always going to be the answer to that one, I thought. Next up, who would be your first name on the Scotland team sheet if you were the gaffer and everyone was injury-free for the next 2 years? Who's going to be your first name?
Scott McTominay, innit? He's hands down our best player and can play any position he wants, really. He's just at a different level, I think, to the rest of the team. And he's in the pump of his career, so if he's injury-free, I think we're doing all right.
Yeah, it's a bit of a tap in that answer, to be fair. No need to be too smart about it. Question 9, which stadium impressed you the most when you visited? Doesn't necessarily need to be for what happened at the game or for the fans that were there, just the stadium itself.
You actually asked me this a couple of weeks ago and I said Wembley. I don't really want to say Wembley on a Scottish football podcast. I think Allianz was pretty good, to be fair. A few of the Spanish grounds I've been to are cool as well, with the steep stands. Spent a bit of time living in Malaga, and the stadium there is cool. You get a really good atmosphere wherever you sit in the stadium. So I'll go balls out the bath and say Malaga.
You're not going to go Granada and hype up the shirt that's behind you?
That's just there to cover the wardrobe.
And finally, probably the most thought-provoking question of the 10, what one thing would you change about football, but particularly Scottish football, to improve the experience for fans?
For fans?
Or just in general, if you want.
I think most people go down either one or two routes. So they'll include booze or to do with VAR. I'll go down the VAR route and just get rid of it. I think it completely ruins the experience for fans in the stadium. Goal line tech is one thing, but VAR is just utter shite. And still, even if it benefits your team or doesn't, I still don't enjoy it. So I just can VAR and go back to the dark ages.
It's good that we've got VAR, but we don't have goal line tech. But yeah, it's fine. Don't worry about it. It's cool.
Running before you can walk.
Well, yeah, thanks for sharing. That was hopefully interesting to those listening. Interesting for Matt and Andrew as well, who don't know Henry the same way that I obviously do. But yeah, I think we're just here to talk to someone who's experienced more of the game than we have from a behind-the-scenes perspective, I suppose. So knowing that you've been across in Thailand and you've done a wee bit back here as well, just keen to find out about your most recent experience, I suppose, in Thailand. What were you doing at Phuket Andaman?
So it came about, I was living in Spain about 18 months ago and saw an opportunity online. An English guy was buying a club in the third division and got in touch with him, and had originally planned to go over as an academy manager and help build the academy, and that's more of my background is youth football, working with young players, developing them. But within about 2 weeks of being in Phuket, the head coach had gone AWOL along with his backroom staff. So all of a sudden, a week before the start of the season, I was interim head coach of a third division team in Thailand, and all of a sudden, very much living my football manager dream of a 12-year-old boy.
Class. That is, I've actually fucked up majorly. I was wanting to really ask you what your best FM save was as part of that opening 10 questions.
I actually prepared that one earlier, so I can talk about a 16-year save with East Stirling show where we got to 2 Champions League finals but never won it. Lost to Inter Milan and Real Madrid. A key man was, and I actually did the research on this as well today, had a striker for 10 years called Dino Islamovic, Swedish Montenegrin guy. He's gone on to forge a decent career for himself, but he got like over 300 goals for the Shire across 10 years and managed to keep a hold of them.
That is remarkable. Surely that's how you lead every interview you get at any football club.
It's like, I just go through the answers. You know, in Football Manager, you got the 5 options. strong, middle. I just kind of go through them in my head and pick one.
Matt, surely you've got a few decent FM saves in your time.
Yeah, I took Dundee United to the Champions League, mate, in maybe 2017's version, I don't know. I always go Rovers, but it never works out with the Rovers, you know. I don't know if it's a curse, because if you go your own team, you know, it never seems to work out.
Do you know who's the best? The best thing about the Rovers on Football Manager is Lewis Vaughan. Lewis Vaughan is unbelievable, and he doesn't have the same injury proneness on the game as he does in real life.
Yeah, he's a class player.
Are you a suit-up kind of guy for a cup final on Football Manager, Matt? Or?
Yeah, nah. I'm a save and quit, you know, and start again kind of guy.
I remember living with you, Andrew, during COVID, and when it was working from home, and you had a terrific. I know it's maybe not the same as taking East Stirlingshire to a Champions League final, but when you've 2 Champions League finals, but your save with Rangers, I'm sure you were maybe not to the level of suiting up for a cup final, but you were definitely the sort of guy that stood behind the chair, arms crossed. From what I remember.
It's good of you to bring that up because it's doing really well, and then the whole thing crashed and lost all my progression somehow. So pretty much the computer was ready for the bin. So yeah, cheers for that, mate. That was a low point, but prior to that, I would go Rangers like as a wee like if I'm not going to be able to commit to this too much. But used to go Forfar back in the day, and that was a lot more addictive. But God, that was the worst. I think I'd got pretty far in the Champions League during COVID, and then I don't know what happened to the computer, but the whole thing just gone, like the whole shebang. Like it was so gutting, but wouldn't open up again. Like I just never played it since then. So
is this taking Rangers from the depths of Division 3? Because if so, it's a parallel story to my East Stirling show one time.
Yeah, not quite, I don't think. But it was like I don't know. I think it was a couple of years old at COVID time. So I mean, we weren't peak, but still nowhere near that kind of feat for East Stirlingshire. That's incredible.
He's tried to have another subtle dig at the teddy bear there, a subtle jibe.
Well,
comparing him to East Stirlingshire.
Just getting started, mate.
We need a bit of that, to be fair. I think we've been guilty of being too nice to the Rangers fan on here, but
I'm used to it.
Yeah, you are indeed.
Just as a young coach, I'm interested in what made you want to become a coach and who inspired you. Any young coaches, the past or at the moment?
I think for me, it was when I was 16. I just decided that I was never gonna be able to play the game, and I wish I wish I had some kind of story about my knee giving up on me or having a bum leg or something, but I was just actually not very good at football. Just decided that if I wanted to be stick around in the game, I better do something else. I just realised that if I'm going to be involved in the game, it's not going to be playing. So thankfully, somebody who lived nearby was head of youth academy at Stirling Albion and let me go in as the general lackey, just putting cones out and cleaning bibs and stuff. And from there, I just got a really good grounding in academy football. Like, not many 16-year-olds get to go in and be part of a professional club's academy. And from there, just kind of just try to get different experiences. To answer your question, I mean, I think growing up, every Scottish football fan's inspiration was Alex Ferguson to some extent, just what he achieved in his longevity. In terms of a Scottish, that's from a Scottish perspective, but obviously other people influence you along the way, like what Guardiola's done, but you just kind of take a little bit from other people and steal what you can. I mean, not comparing myself to these guys, but I am a football manager. I'm fucking amazing on football management.
What's your style? Are you goalkeeper pass it short to the defenders, sort of draw them in?
We're still talking about football manager here.
We're talking about real football now, mate.
My kind of belief is you've got to adapt to the players you've got. I think when I was younger, I was very headstrong about a style and I wanted to be known for having a style. When I went to Dunblane, we was in the amateur scene, but we were kind of punching above our weight. We had a really young team, but the amateur scene then was really vibrant, and we were making a bit of a name for ourselves as, you know, playing a lot of good football. And I kind of maybe was being a bit egotistical at the time, to be honest, about how I wanted us to play. Because especially in the Amies, you come up against a lot of bruisers that are happy just to absolutely snap your knee height. So playing out for the back on pitches which only really suited to probably cost us a few times, and then that's, as a coach, you kind of adapt from that. And then I think now I like to think I'm adaptable and change to the conditions, the opposition, depending on what I think they'll provide. And especially in Thailand last year, I mean, the pitches were similar to Scottish amateur pitches. So, and going away from home, you've got kind of 13, 14-hour bus trips. So there's you've got to factor all these things into account. And I think being adaptable is a big part of how I set teams up.
I mean, it's interesting at the moment with coaches in the game. It seems to be that everyone wants to find a coach with a style, you know, who's got a philosophy type thing. That's how, like, obviously Company went from Burnley to Bayern Munich, because apparently he plays the right way. It seems to be it's like the sort of way it's going now with the coaches with a sort of idea versus the sort of old school coaches, you know, are getting phased out, like Sean Dyche and similar.
I think at those levels, I think there's so much analysis and analytics that goes on that the real smart guys with the silly money, they've got algorithms working all this stuff out for them. Who's actually going to get the best out of their team? And it's probably the computer making a lot of decisions rather than the human being. And you're just looking for the kind of face of that. It's interesting to see what will happen at Hearts with McInnes and Tony Bloom, because Tony Bloom's teams are very much data driven and analysis led, whereas I don't think Derek McInnes will hate me saying this, but he's built a reputation on just building teams with a real good kind of identity, good solid foundations, being hard to beat. So it'll be interesting to see how that kind of matches. From a Scottish perspective.
Yeah, he's built a lot of things just on feel, isn't he? And I was going to say something similar to Matt, where if you're going in for an interview at a job, they probably expect you to come with a style, and you've not met the players yet. I mean, you can do a bit of research. I mean, I'm talking at your level, obviously, Henry, the teams that you're talking about. There's only so much research you can do as to what types of players they've got and how that's going to work. I guess a lot of it is more about your management style and how you can work with players as opposed to what system you're going to use.
I think a lot of it at that level comes down to personality, to be honest, and just your willingness to be adaptable, and especially at the levels I've worked. I mean, I've never bought a player. I've not had money to go and buy players, even at Glasgow Uni, so on. You just coach the players you're given, and I think 99.9% of football coaches in the world are in the same boat, even from grassroots level. You don't actually you don't put plans together and have schedules for signing players and this kind of thing. You just adapt and deal with what you've got and try and get the best out of your people. And to me, that is what coaching is. It's just trying to get the best out of your people. And it's like just like being a manager of a used car sales place or something, you know. It's just about getting your workers working, man.
Or a real estate, or a estate agency in Edinburgh, Andrew.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
You
that's
got us going, mate. We will die for you, Andrew.
That's like David Brent back in the day. Yeah, I had a couple of questions about. Obviously, you've got such a good insight into the whole sort of youth culture, I guess, you know, especially in Scottish football. And I suppose, I mean, a long time ago, it's 15 years ago or something like that, when they did the McLeish report. And, you know, obviously that was meant to be a big push to try and advance the skills of what we've got and the general engagement of football, especially at a sort of youth level. And even at the moment, I mean, obviously I keep an eye on youngsters of my own team, but you've had two decent players, you know, in Alfie Hutchison and Oliver Goodbrand going, well, I think they have or are just about to go to Newcastle. So it seems that very good youth players still get poached, you know, from teams at all levels here to go elsewhere. How do you feel that the cooperation system that's coming into place this season is going to affect that in a positive or negative way? Because I suppose it encourages the bigger teams in Scottish football, you know, anyone in the Premiership to send players on loan to the lower divisions. But how does that then affect the youth players in the lower divisions and their chances of then moving up the ladder?
I speak from my perspective as a Stirling Albion coach, and we were very much at the kind of bottom of the food chain from an academy point of view in every sense: facilities, finances, access to everything really. And a good example of success for Stirling Albion, I think, was George Stanger, who he arrived to us from Dundee United as quite a young boy, and I think 2 or 3 years with Stirling Albion and kind of regained his confidence. And then he went to Hamilton Accies as a 16 or 17-year-old, and George just had a really interesting pathway. Because he had games with Hamilton Accies in the Premiership as I think a 17-year-old, and then for whatever reason, his development kind of athlete was ready to push on. George is probably the best player I've ever worked with. That was as a 14, 15-year-old boy. And George ended up dropping back down to, I think, Stirling Uni for a while, and it was with Alloa, but was very much patient and took his time and has reaped the rewards for that. And Scott Brown put a lot of faith in him last year, and Kelly have signed him this summer. So I think that's a real kind of, that's kudos to Stirling Albion, because they were there to take him from Dundee United. On the flip side of that, I can't remember too many players, if I'm honest, that we took from the community in Stirling and actually progressed forward, if that makes sense. And these academies at this level, there's a kind of existential debate which happens all the time. Is it worth the time and effort actually trying to develop players, or is it worth just trying to pick up the pieces that come out of the bigger academies at a later stage, maybe under 18 or 21 level? Honestly, I don't really know where I stand on that. I can see the merits to both sides, and I think the reality in Scottish football is it comes down to finances. Unless you've got a kind of major benefactor that's willing to just stick with the principle of having an academy for the sake of it, a lot of the time it doesn't really make sense in Scottish football to have an academy. When that money realistically can be invested higher up, and clubs need to survive. In terms of cooperation between clubs, I think it's healthy. I think getting young players minutes is the most important thing. I don't think it even matters the level, to be honest. Obviously, the higher the level, the better. But one thing that you see on Twitter every week is like, oh, in a game between, let's just say, Dundee United and Ross County, oh, there's only 2 Scottish players and they played 72 minutes or something. That happens every week. So I think ultimately it's about trying to get young players' minutes higher up, but that would involve massive kind of reconstruction of league rules and forcing players to play 5 or 7 Scottish players. I don't even think that kind of question's on the lips of people in the boardrooms at SPFL and SFA level. So it's about how you can kind of fit these players into other teams. I think the debate should be that one. I think it should be about getting these players minutes at the highest level possible. But then you get the arguments saying, oh, that'll affect clubs in Europe. I mean, maybe so, but I mean, it doesn't seem to affect teams in Scandinavia and Croatia, that kind of thing. So, improve the quality of the academies, which the McLeish report was about. I think there has been some success in that, but as you say, Andrew, a lot of these players are going down to England at the first opportunity for money. For money for the club and money for the player. And I don't know how many successful examples of that there's been.
I can't think of really many at all, to be honest with you. I can think of plenty that have got lost in the system and then have no idea where they are now. Yeah, I totally agree with you. I think that the whole youth system is kind of broken in Scottish football, and this cooperation agreement or system that they're bringing in is kind of almost like a last resort to get young Scottish players playing, but it's at the detriment of academies of smaller teams. But as you said, they're very hand to mouth, and they often want to put the investment somewhere else. So it'd be interesting to see how it affects the kind of volunteer kind of resources, I guess, in Scottish football over the next 5 years if they kind of remain with this system. But yeah, no, it's an interesting insight. I did have a little bit more of a kind of light-hearted question, which is more to do with your time in Thailand, the match day experience. What kind of food do you get there? Because I can't imagine you get pies and you like beers and you like to smoke a fag and stuff like that, or what's the script?
You can definitely smoke more than that.
Right.
It's pretty much anything goes, to be honest with you. Different clubs have different kind of hospitality packages, as it were, or different things on offer. I know you see it on the social media stuff that goes over our screens all the time. It's eating witchetty grubs and stuff out a bush tucker trial and stuff. I have seen it, but I mean the locals don't go mad for it. They're way more interested in fried chicken and this kind of thing. But a lot of the time they're really good at working with people in the community. So rather than having offerings from the club, they might take a commission, or they might sell a space, or I don't even know if the finances on offer, but they might just say to local people in the community, market vendors and stuff, come and just pitch a stall outside the ground, and you can come and go. And as soon as you're in the stadium,
Class.
You can come and go, and you can bring your beer in, and you can do what you want, really. One of the last games I went to in Thailand, I just walked in a gate at the side. Nobody really gave a shit.
Oh, come on. You're stealing money from the poor clubs there, man.
I know. 100 baht to Ranong. Sorry, lads. And the entrances are 100 baht, £2.50 and something like that. So...
What's the atmosphere like? Is there do they sing? Is there ultras? Is there a...
Mate, it's they're all biffed out their nut, mate. They're all fucking...
It just depends on the club. Even in the third division, some of the southern teams, near the border with Malaysia, they've got really good crowds and ultra sections and stuff, and some of them are getting 4,000 or 5,000 a game.
Decent.
So there's definitely there's something to work with there at these clubs. The one thing that I just don't understand is that obviously Thailand's a very bases their culture on respect. At the end of the game, you have to go over to say we're the away team, you have to go to the home fans and get a round of applause, and they'll sing your name and stuff.
Really?
Aye.
Imagine that here.
We got beat 4-1 in a away game, and I was gutted. We played shite. We're away from home. Just want to kind of get on the bus and get up the road. All of a sudden, the players are doing a lap of honour, and I'm like, "What are you doing? You've just been spanked 4-1."
Imagine doing that at Easter Road or something. You've just been battered and you have to walk to the home fans and they have to sing your name. Never.
They're singing our name for ages, and I'm just fucking hell, we've got 7 hours to go on the bus here, lads. Let's just go in here.
Witchy grubs are getting cold.
And the home fans, rather than celebrating with their own players, were applauding us, and I'm like, what the fuck's going on here?
That's weird.
That's one thing I just never will understand.
Was there? Sorry, what's the away fan culture like? Because one of the biggest footballing nations in certainly Europe is Spain, and their away fan culture is almost non-existent. There's a very, very core group of a few hundred fans, I think, that make away trips. If you think of Scottish football, I know the country's a lot smaller, but Scottish football, you'll get a few thousand travelling to go and watch, whereas Spain, massive football, massive amounts of supporters, you only get a few hundred. What's the culture like in Thailand? Is there away fans at all? I know how massive that country is.
I think the first thing to consider is the geography. Like our nearest away game was, I think, 3 hours or so. But there was one team that came to us as their away game, and they had the majority of fans, and but that's one of the teams that has a real good like home following that gets like 5-6K a game. But they brought buses, and I think the club subsidised it and that kind of thing. And they were probably quite happy to come to Phuket for a weekend. But they were quite noisy. We actually beat them at home. I think it was probably our best result of the season, to be honest. But fan away culture. I think in the top division and stuff, teams will take a few. Most of the teams are in Bangkok, so it's quite easy to get to most of the games, or within like a couple of hours of Bangkok. They'll take a few, but there's no needle. There's no G4S guys at the halfway line and stuff. Like.
I was going to say, what's the standard of football like in comparison to Scottish football, the league you're in?
I think it's such a hard question because a lot of the aspects of the Thai game are really good. A lot of aspects like their technique and these aspects are really good, but then they let themselves down with the basic stuff, just like professionalism, preparation, fitness, tactics. So it's difficult. There's a lot of players that would play at a decent level in Scotland technically, but they just wouldn't be able to hack it tactically.
Is it full time? The team you manage, are they full time?
That's the weirdest thing in the world. This third division, there's 6 regions and there's like 70 clubs. It's all full time.
Wow.
Which I think is unsustainable in itself.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, some of the distance we have to travel, you're away for 3.5 days at a time.
Wow.
So it kind of has to be full time.
Yeah.
But
No wonder there's a slight lack of professionalism at times. If you've got a busload of boys staying away in hotels for 2 or 3 days, I'd be getting on the piss as well. That's why I'm not a footballer. Yeah.
It definitely happens. But I mean, some of the guys would play decent. I mean, probably the level I was at was probably some of the players would maybe be lower league Scotland, but then some of them also reminded me of amateur players that I've worked with in the past as well. Like, it's kind of hard to tell.
Yeah.
I think being like technically, from the games I'd watched anyway, being technically good is correct. There was some good ability, but then it seemed like there was a lack of almost knowledge of football, I guess, or because you've grown up watching games and games and games every weekend, like absorbing it all the time. It's the number one sport here, and that's the way that we learn football as a youngster. Like, obviously you go to training and stuff, but they'll have done the same. I think just a lack of general understanding. That's from a punter watching it on a screen thousands of miles away, but that's what
that's definitely, I mean, a lot of concepts that would seem like second nature to us to me as a coach, or just even as a fan, like, just don't exist. Like holding a back 4 line, like trying to coach that, they're like, what the fuck's this? And obviously the higher you go in Thai football, it becomes more common practice with the better quality coaches that are there. But still, even when you watch some of the first and second tier games there, some of the basic stuff that goes on, it's very much just a different sport. And I think that's why a lot of Scottish players would probably struggle to adapt as well, because it's just the concepts are very different. Like, they essentially play for the first goal. That's it. And there's just this mentality that if you lose the first goal, you're kind of much beat. And that's like the games are very pedestrian, slow. You don't really see much urgency. And then when a team gets the goal, they kind of think themselves as won the game, which is obviously the opposite of how we perceive things. Everyone loves a comeback, but
kind of like watching Rangers last season. To be fair,
if you back the team that won up, you'll be pretty sound.
Yeah, I mean, what was the language barrier like as well? Like, surely there must have been a wee bit of that in coaching and like communicating from the touchline and such, like, was that ever like a big problem, or?
100%. Obviously, in an ideal world, there would have been some kind of interpreter or translator or whatever, but we never had that. We used what we had. I mean, a few of the guys spoke English and tried to communicate, but you never know what they're saying.
Yeah.
And my Thai was, I mean, it was getting there by the end, but it's still shite. But I remember I took my first training session, and this was still when the old coach was still there. And I don't know, they weren't trying very hard. So I was just effing and blinding, probably trying to make like a bit of a show. They basically just downed tools and stopped. And I was like, that made me even angrier. And I'm like, I just couldn't get it. I was like, whatever I was asking, they were doing the opposite. And basically, I got a call that night. Like in the players' group chat, they were like, we'll refuse to work for this guy if he keeps swearing like that. Like, you're not allowed to swear in Thai culture. So I think as coming from Scottish football, you know, swear words like the noun, the verb, the adverb, and the adjective in every sentence. It's just, you have to adapt. You've got to be really calm. And
How was that? Because I can imagine it's much different when you're coaching amateurs in Scotland. You have to kind of be a bit more sort of masculine, a bit more aggressive,
that's the game, isn't it?
Yeah,
that's the role in amateur football, especially. Probably my time at Glasgow Uni, that probably helped me, but I'll never forget that first session where they were just like, no more swearing.
Jeez Louise. Game's gone.
Game's gone. Talking of games, probably about that time to play some games.
In a world where sponsorship is more accessible than ever, that world exists at sportsponsorship.co.uk. Whether you're interested in making a difference to your local community or further afield, or perhaps you're looking for access to tens of thousands of followers online to push your brand further than ever, get in touch with sportsponsorship.co.uk. That's sportsponsorship.co.uk.
Lovely stuff.
We have to, Tom. We have to, mate.
Another segue. Yeah, we do.
Oh God!
It's time for home and away. But before we do home and away, we're going to start a new segment because hopefully you'll be, Henry, the first of many guests on the Tin Pot podcast, and you'll be the first name on the leaderboard. We're going to do 60 seconds on the clock, and I'll ask you some questions. Just a bit of a quiz, much simpler than the home and away pitch that we normally do.
Is it can I pass, or is it like...
You can pass if you want, yeah. Your passes will rack up, though. So if you're on, say, 10 points and 3 passes, and Kyle Lafferty, who's coming on next week, is on 10 points and 1 pass, he'll go above you, if that makes sense.
It's like a goal difference type situation.
Something like that, yeah. It's the tiebreaker.
Right, well, we'll see what we can do. I'm sober as a judge, so probably won't help me.
Yeah, I was going to say that's probably not a good thing. I'll put a minute on my clock here, and we'll get going in 3, 2, 1. Who took the first penalty for Aberdeen in this year's Scottish Cup final?
Fuck no, Shinny.
Correct. Which club is nicknamed the Buddies?
St Mirren.
Which team did Rangers beat in the 2022 Europa League semi-final?
Leipzig.
Yep. In which year did Inverness Caledonian Thistle first join the Scottish Football League?
93 or something.
94. Who scored the winning goal for Kilmarnock in the 97 Scottish Cup final?
Ray Montgomery.
Paul Wright. What is the name of Queen's Park's current stadium?
Lesser Hampden, is it?
Yep. Who was in goal for France when James McFadden scored in Paris 2007?
Pick it out.
How many times has Scotland qualified for the Men's World Cup?
7.
It's 8. Who are the current stadium sponsors of Livingston?
Tony Mack, is it?
No, it's the home of the Set Fair. Outside of Celtic and Rangers, who were the last team to finish second in the Premiership? That's your time. I will let you answer.
Let's finish second.
In the Premiership.
Must have been a year that Rangers were down playing with Kev Kyle and stuff.
Everyone's famous ship painter. Everyone's favourite.
Aberdeen must have had the best show, was it?
Aberdeen is correct in 1718. The first team to finish second after Rangers went down were Motherwell, I think.
Motherwell on the last day, but it was a dodgy decision in the last minute. Should have been Aberdeen again.
Yeah, I thought you would have gone with them. Let me just tally up your score. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 correct in a minute.
Paul Wright one's poor. I should have got that.
6 correct, 0 passes. Yeah, Paul Wright was the answer to question 5. 94 is when Callie joined the league for the first time.
93,
8 World Cups, as I
93, 94, was it?
Good question. You're not getting it on a technicality, though. And yeah, the home of the Setfair Arena, who is its West Lothian private hire. So there you go.
Nice.
Set the bar, Matt.
Impressive.
I think 6 is a good score in a
It was a
minute.
decent score, some tricky questions in there. It was...
Yeah, that's the thing. I guarantee you'll listen to the next guest episode. Text me straight after saying, "Oh, those questions are fucking easier." Me.
Nice. I'm happy with that. Set the bar. I'll be back next season, lads.
Time for home and away now. The scores after last week are an embarrassing 14-7 to Andrew. Not embarrassing if you're Andrew, of course. But Matt shat the bed.
Again,
I'm on a losing streak.
Matt's falling apart again. 2 weeks in a row, we've had Chris Rea last week and now Joy Division. Matt started last week, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So it's Andrew to go first. Andrew, home or away?
home again. What's that?
Home again. A
Yep.
Canadian midfielder with 13 caps and 1 goal. And those caps came between 2018 and the present day.
How many caps?
13.
And 1 goal. Scott Arfield?
He's gone early. Scott Arfield is incorrect. That means, Matthew, you get a chance to steal for 3 points and to claw.
Tap it in, Matt. This is your quick Christopher Lumo moment.
David Wotherspoon.
David Wotherspoon is correct.
Well done.
Congratulations. Good steal.
He's coming back. Come on.
Did our
Get my
guests know that
confidence
one?
up.
It's easy to say yes, but did you know that?
Yeah, I did have that. Well, it was between those two, but you can. It's a bit of a trick saying to the present day. So I presume Witherspoon will never get another calendar cap, but you never know.
I just go by what it says on his Wikipedia page.
Another rigged question. But anyway, yeah, no, that's fine. That's cool.
Oh.
That's all right.
No matter how it goes, both of you call
No,
it, like,
that's fine. That's
He
all
usually
right.
gets the Rangers boys, so he's
Yeah,
he's
no,
right to guess it was my Rangers boy.
looking forward to seeing him in a Canada strip again. Oh no, actually, he's probably not going to play for him again. No, that's cool. No worries. That's absolutely fine. That's good.
fucking pray that somehow, whilst playing at Dunfermline, he gets a call up.
Falkirk,
Yeah, no,
mate.
he should do. Yeah, no, he definitely. Yeah, no, yeah.
Is Witherspoon still about? Like, is he still playing with Dunfermline?
I think he's just gone to Inverness.
Has he got Inverness?
Oh, that even more likely then. That's good. That's good. Yeah. No, good. Good question, mate. Yeah, that's great. A League One player is probably going to get called up for the Canada squad. Yeah,
He's still an active player, and he's not announced his retirement.
No,
and he's
yeah,
not
you're
said
right.
he's not available for selection.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
just got
you're
beat by
right. No,
Guatemala in the Gold Cup, mate. They're absolutely pissed.
So would that
They could be
mean?
calling him up.
So would that mean Lee Griffiths technically would qualify for the Scotland equivalent because he's still playing football?
Let me check on his Wikipedia.
What's the club he went to? Macedonia. What was it?
He went to like Stirling, Macedonia. or something like that.
Macedonia. Do you know that team?
If I was putting Lee Griffiths in the quiz, I would say no. I would say 2012 to 2020.
Oh right.
Perhaps he has withdrawn himself.
When was Witherspoon's last cap, though?
Good
Yeah.
question. I shall do some more googling.
I still get the points, right? Even though we're...
Yeah. No, absolutely. It's not your fault, Matthew. It's a flawed system. So
Oh,
yeah.
for fuck's sake, man.
you screwed us
His
again.
last cap was 2023, so I think that's
Yeah.
fair.
Yeah, 2 years ago.
He might have been in a squad in the last year, though.
Yeah, he could have been recent squads. See, if Henry didn't say that, you wouldn't have said fuck all, Andrew, so you can shove it. Just
Well,
be quiet.
He also probably wasn't. So yeah, there you go. But anyway, no,
Henry,
good.
in the meantime, if you could please do some Googling to tell me that David Witherspoon was in a squad like 2 months ago. Thank you.
So,
Right, Matthew, home or away? The scores are currently 14-10 to Andrew.
so what? Can you remind me, please, and our listeners of the away points scoring
6
system?
points if you get it after 1 clue,
Okay.
4 points if you get it after 2, and 2 points if you need all 3 clues.
Well, I'm still 4 behind, so
You're in touching distance.
yeah, I'm on a terrible run of away I'm going to go home just to try and close the gap a bit.
Gonna go home.
Yeah, I'm going to go home.
That's fair.
And your clue is number 1. Scottish defender with 17 caps and 0 goals between 2016 and present.
Could be anyone.
No matter
That's
what I
harder
say
than
here,
the away clue. That's harder than the away clue. That's harder than the away clue. Come on.
what do you mean the away clue?
Oh, well, the last clue is that's a harder clue. That's a harder question.
Andrew went home and it was the exact same.
Yeah,
clue,
no,
just
it's
with different numbers.
But how many Canadians are there in Scottish football, mate? Like 2? How many Scottish players are there? Like 100?
To be fair, I'm kind of with Matthew on this one. Any Scottish defender from 2016 to now, how many caps?
Okay, I'll.
No, you can't change the question.
It says on my screen what I'd written down was from Wikipedia, and I changed it to try and be kind to you, Andrew, because you're a whinging prick. It says on my screen, Scottish defender with 17 caps, 0 goals between 2016 and 2020. The reason I said present is because he's still an active player, so maybe that helps.
To be fair, also just to go back to the David Waterspoon debate, according to the Wikipedia, players that are still active at the club and on international level are in bold. David Waterspoon is in bold.
He's never getting called up. You guys are fucking full of shit.
You tell him.
Whereas the player I've just announced for Matthew, it does say in his Wikipedia 2016-2020. So there must be a reason for that, which is why I'll give you the proper clue.
Okay, what was the clue again, please? Sorry.
No.
Fucking hell.
17
You're not
caps.
getting it.
17 caps, 0 goals, defender. Just give me the second clue, please.
Second clue,
Yeah.
He's made over 100 league appearances for Hearts, scoring 33 goals.
100 appearances for Hearts, 33
Surely
goals.
it's happened.
No, don't!
How many goals?
33, I believe, for the GITs. Made over 100 league appearances and 33 goals for Hearts.
Who was the manager in 16-20? It was Steve Clark, was it?
Strachan for the first 2 years of that. No, Strachan for a year, then it was McLeish for a year, I think, and then...
Clark for a couple of years. 100 appearances. He's still playing, obviously. Still kicking about.
Mental.
33 goals in 100 games for Hearts.
He said he's played over 100 league appearances. I swear you two didn't listen
I
to
don't
these
have a pen and
bloody
paper
clues.
this time. I left it upstairs, mate.
Not exactly 100 league appearances, over 100 league appearances. Could be 500.
Over 100 league appearances for Hearts.
Yes.
And how many goals?
33
Okay.
33, and he was 2016 to present.
for Scotland. His caps came between 2016 and 2020.
So he must still be playing, that's what I mean.
Henry said earlier that I think he thinks he's got it.
I do have a
That's it.
phone in front of me, to be fair.
Can I have,
Oh, you've been
can I have the last clue, please, mate?
Last clue for a point to make
no.
it 14-11. He won Cardiff City Young Player of the Year in 2017-18.
Oh my god, why? You won Cardiff City Young Player of the Year in 2017-2018.
I can see where the debate about this one's going to come in.
Oh, don't give him extra little tidbits of clue. And I did prepare for that eventuality as well, Henry. Right, I'm gonna have to rush you here, Matt. I'm afraid.
No, I don't know.
I'm gonna take a punt on a grunt.
Nah, I'm stumped, mate. Andrew?
Okay, well it passes over to Andrew then.
I don't know if the dates check out, to be honest, but I'm going to go for Callum Patterson.
That is correct. Callum Patterson gets you a point back, so it's now 15 points to Andrew and 10 to Matthew.
Scottish football's best advert for touch of grey men.
Him and Matt Gilks.
Callum Patterson.
Gilks, mate.
Oh, Gilks, sorry, yeah. Can't believe you shot the bed on Callum Patterson, man.
I
You've
know.
gone with the
I
home
honestly
question,
cannot
still
remember him
fucked up.
playing in a Scotland shirt. Genuinely, I can't remember him playing for Scotland. I can't.
After Alan Hutton dropped off from right back,
Good player.
we needed someone to fill that void, and he was the man for a while.
I didn't know that till the last clue with the Cardiff thing, and then I wasn't sure about the dates, so...
Give me more Canadians, Tom. Give me more Canadians, mate.
Still playing to the present day.
That ends episode 6. Sorry to speak over you, Matthew. Yep,
Sorry.
that's the end of episode 6. Thank you so much for listening. If you're still here at this point, we'll be delivering a new episode weekly. They come out on Tuesdays. They are on Spotify if you want to listen to it, or on Apple Music, Google Play. You can watch the episodes on YouTube. You can get shorts and reels and clips of the podcasts and all the other nonsense that we do on Instagram and TikTok. The handle there is @TinPotPod. Until then, we thank our guest, Henry Leask, for joining us. Thank you, sir.
Cheers,
Thank you.
lads.
Cheers.
It's been a pleasure.
And to Andrew and Matt, thanks as well.
Cheers.
You're fucking welcome, mate. Thank you so much.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye.